So here's a few knives I picked up this weekend. A lot of people would think of this as just junk. I picked this up off the table, and it's the reason for it is, as some of you know, I kind of collect this style of the U.S. military stamp. Some people call it the demo knife. Usually you'll see U.S. stamped here, or USMC, or USA, or Army or Navy, but this one doesn't have any of that, but it does have the brass liners, and it is carbon steel, and of course the blade is in terrible shape, really, if you think about it. The whole belly's been filed away through improper sharpening. But this is kind of your World War II era design, and when I picked it up, I asked how much, and he said $2, and I thought, well, I'm buying it for $2, and there was these other knives sitting there at the same time, and this one here is of the same era, right? It's got the brass liners. It's pretty old. It's pretty beat up. The scales have shrank on it. This is a Camillus. Might be able to see that on there, right here. And I need to do a little work and cleaning up on this. It has the two-piece can opener. I don't see that too often. Whatever, $2. Okay. This was the thing. I picked this thing up. This is a Normark. I was 100% unfamiliar with this, and I thought it was just kind of a goof. It does have the wrong screw here. I'm actually going to take that apart in real time for you on screen in a moment. And I just thought, I eyeballed this, and I thought, I don't know, what is this thing here? It's a plastic handle. I noticed the brass screws right away. And I picked it up, and I looked, and I noticed that it had a nice thick brass liner. And I noticed that it had this really neat little lanyard ring that pivots out of here. And I opened it up. You hear that? I'll do that for you again. That is a solid lockup right there. And it's a clip point Bowie blade. And you may or may not know this about me, but I'm just a sucker for Bowie knives, man. Well, it turns out this is called a Big Swede. And it's a Scandinavian steel. Turns out it's actually a thing. It's actually a thing that people desire, and they collect them, and they don't come up for sale very often. So for $2, it's pretty amazing. It is not sharp, but fortunately it hasn't been too damaged. I can bring the edge back on this nicely. Now, let's see something here. Hang on. Okay, kind of knocked the camera over there. So I'm going to do this on the tube here so you guys can help me out, all right? Because I don't know where to get these parts, and I first need to see how it actually works. As I turn this screw, it's turning this one, which tells me it's inserted. So it's, I forget what that term is, when one screw basically insults into a female end on the other side. And I'm 100% certain that this is going to be the wrong thread, and it will be cross thread, which is going to stink. But that is just how it is. So let's see if we can do this. I don't know if I can. It's probably the wrong way to do it. I need one of those little nubby screwdrivers. I went looking for it, and I have them. You never need them until you do. I'm actually stabbing myself with the blade, which is stupid. Boy, this is really something going on here. This is really, did not expect this. I'm sorry, I'm not on camera the whole time here. Oh, okay, that came out. So I was wrong. It's not inserted into the other one. There is clearly an insert here, so that's what's going on. This is cross-thread into that, 100%. Looks like that's just spinning. So I'm probably going to have a hard time getting this apart, which is a bummer. Let's see what happens here. Okay, it's a little nicer. Hang on a second here. I'll just speed this up by jumping forward. Now, I just pried this off. It came off real easy. I mean, there's a lot to clean out in here. I want to eyeball this here, so you can see how far this is sticking out here. That's just because this screw has been forced into this threaded section. So I'm going to put a pair of pliers on this here and try to unscrew this screw. This is not the right tool for the job, but hopefully it'll do the trick. This makes me not happy. I did find this though, so that's nice. And I think it's spinning. Feels like it might be spinning that piece there. Got a pocket lint in here. It's interesting to see how these things actually work. So I'm going to keep working on this, I suppose. Look at this. Some moron put a self-tapping screw. It just aggravates me to no end. Ugh. I had to beat on this a bit to get it apart. So I got to force all this back together now, which I will do and clean it up. And then I've just got to figure out where I can find the right screw. I'll just have to match one of these brass machine screws up. But if you know what that is exactly, please tell me, and hopefully I can make it work. It does look like that liner in there, that threaded liner, has been cross-thread. So fortunately it's brass. So if I put another brass screw in, I could test that right now with one of these. I'll probably get that to work. But yeah, it's just a very cool, Big Swede Sandvik stainless. I know these hold a great edge. I'm going to put it back together. It's a nice heavy-duty tool. And this would be perfect. This thing, in my opinion, this would just be perfect for a kit, a survival kit, just because of the lockup. You can just do so much with this knife. And apparently it is a very common, I think the British love this thing. I think the British commandos use them. I've heard all kinds of rumors online on eBay. I just don't know. But we'll find out. And I'm going to be on the lookout for more of these. There's different iterations of them. The company still exists. I think it's EKA. Yeah, Sweden. And just $2, man. I'll get this thing sharp and working correct again, and I'll be very happy with it. And it's just going to live in a kit and probably never really even been used eventually. But thought you guys would get a kick out of that. And I know the fellas will. It's not something the ladies like watching. I've been getting more females on the channel, thanks to just the storytelling and whatnot. But if you have an inquisitive mind and you're curious about how things work, ladies, then now you know something that you didn't know before, how this thing works. Have a great day. Thanks for being here. Be good to one another. Jumped the gun there. As it turns out, there is one of these female ends on the front there. So that means, and of course now as I took this apart, which was probably a mistake, I have to figure that one out. I'm sorry, I'm off camera. But what that means is that I need another one of these. The head must have just snapped off the other side there. I am all over the place. I apologize. So that's very, very interesting how this works here. But at any rate, I'll let you go for now. I need one of these, I guess, for the rear end. So if you know where I can find that, let me know. Thanks. You have to push this back in there so that the mechanism actually works. And I was able to force this one here back through on the back end, through this side. I signed off too soon there. But I just thought you guys would get a kick out of seeing this, those of you who are into this sort of thing. And there are little tiny brass screws here. Well, right here, right here, right here. And they are definitely pulled through the frame on this back side here. So this knife's been a little bit beat up and mistreated. Hopefully I can make it work again with the proper screws and hardware. But once again, just hoping you guys might be able to help me out with the parts for this. In the meantime, I'll clean it up. I'll put it back together without putting this silly thing back in there. And who knows, I might have a small machine screw that might be able to fit on the other side on here. And if that works, I'll be happy with it. I would just prefer to have it correct. So once again, thanks for being here, and catch you guys in the next one.